Hi guys, welcome to Scorched Earth Tarot. This is going to be a general reading for the sign of Capricorn, Sun, Moon and Ascendant for the month of December. If you don't know what your moon or ascendant signs are, have a look in the description box. I'll put a link down there that will help you. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you very much. I really appreciate the support. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope you find something here for you. Usual rules apply. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Don't try and make it fit if the message is not for you. And you should know fairly swiftly whether it's a reading for you. But at the end of the day, it is general. And so, you know, it cannot apply to all people across the board. If you're a December Capricorn, happy birthday. Because I know there are a few of you out there. And if you're one of the people who's donated to the channel, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. It really helps keep everything going here, at least, anyway. So, with all of that said, let's get some cards on the table. Can I have 3 cards for Capricorn, please? Oh, I'm going to show you that, but I'm not going to take it because it just sort of flipped over. It's the Lovers. Possibly got a choice to make this month, Capricorn. Can I have 3 cards for Capricorn, please? Well, that's the first one. First card is Strength. That's the card of Leo in the Major Arcana. Needing a bit of fortitude this month. 2 more cards for Capricorn, please, for the month of December. Bear with me, they're coming. 2 more cards for Capricorn, please, for the month of December. It's 8 of Wands. Also not going to take that because that didn't flip either, but that's a card of swift communication. You're talking email or instant messenger or something like that. So maybe you're waiting for a message. Maybe you have sent a message. See, 2 more cards for Capricorn, please. So it's got these cards were jumping so hard in the pre-shuffle before I started the video. Now they've gone quiet. There we go. So, 3 of Wands. It's fire energy again. Lots of meanings, but possibly waiting to hear some news, waiting for a message. That's possible. 1 more card for Capricorn, please, for December. There it is. We've got the Hermit. It's card number 9 of the Major Arcana. It's the card of Virgo. On the bottom of the deck, we've got the Tower. It's the card of Scorpio. So, goodness. Capricorn, what have you got going on this month? I'm just going to get some clarifiers so we can put a bit of meat on these bones. But while I'm shuffling these, the shadow card at the bottom of the deck is the underlying theme for the reading. And so in your case, for the general reading for December. But Tower energy is disruptive. It's very disruptive. It talks about clearing away of anything that's been built on faulty foundations. And you don't usually see the Tower coming in this card here. I'm using the Crow Tarot for the main cards. But the depiction is fairly standard across all decks. It's a tower, you know, something that has been erected and created, being hit by lightning and, you know, it half falling down and, you know, people or crows falling out of it. It's very sudden energy. And whilst it feels very disruptive and it can sometimes feel very negative, ultimately what is being cleared out is for your better good. Sometimes it's things that you have had opportunity to clear out of your life and you have chosen not to do it. And then at some point the universe steps in. But the positive side of that is that from the rubble you can rebuild into something stronger that will withstand being hit by lightning. So it makes the first card, and certainly the last card, very relevant, I think. So why is strength here for Capricorn, please? I've got the Hierophant. It's the card of Taurus. That talks about structure and hierarchy and work and business, you know, any situation where you've got an established hierarchy. Why is strength here for Capricorn, please? We've got the Queen of Wands. Now, that's really interesting because there's a lot of fire on the table here now, and particularly in that beginning bit there. We'll pull more cards as and when necessary as we're going along. But I'll take a couple of cards for each of the main ones. So for the Three of Wands, we've got the universe. That's the world in the standard deck. It talks about endings of things. Why is the Three of Wands here, please? And Judgment. Good grief. This is a pretty major month for you, Capricorn, I'm not going to lie. Hermit. Why is the Hermit here for Capricorn, please? Got Page of Pentacles. Interesting. Why is the Hermit here for Capricorn? And the Ace of Pentacles. That's really good. I really like that. At the bottom of the deck, we've got the Magician. Very powerful card when used, when the energy is used correctly. When it's misused, then that can be problematic. Let's put it that way. So, the first card that you've got is Strength. And like I said, that is the card of Leo in the Major Arcana. So you may be dealing with a Leo. That's possible. But if not, Strength talks about inner strength. It's not about wrestling lions or boar or, you know, any of the other things that happen to be on the Strength card. You know, you look at that crow there, it's sat on the nose of the lion. If the lion didn't want it there, it would just snap it in half and eat it, or whatever. It's soft power. We're talking about internal strength. We're talking about the sort of strength that isn't necessarily immediately visible to people outside. And as a Leo, I love this card, but my heart does sink usually a little when I see it, because in order to gain that kind of inner strength, that inner resolve, that inner fortitude, it's generally achieved through difficult circumstances. Yeah. Somebody who has an easy life, who's never had to struggle, will not build up that core, you know, of inner strength in there. It's strength of character. That's what we're talking about here. And the two cards that you've got to clarify are the Hierophant and the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands can also indicate a Leo. It can also indicate a Sagittarius or Aries, you know, so take it as it applies to you. But I'm going to interpret it energetically, so and the Hierophant is Taurus. So any of those signs may be important. But if not, as I was saying, the Hierophant depicts any kind of situation where there's an established hierarchy. So that can be a school, that could be a university, that can be, you know, a church. But it can be business and it can be work. And I'm getting a strange feeling of work here. It's possibly because there's Pentacles on the table now, which is your energy, it's Earth. It can mean guidance and all that kind of thing, particularly spiritual guidance, but I get a really strong work vibe here. And what I'm seeing is that this chap is sat on a rock. He's looking quite serene. There's a stream in front of him, and the stream is what's separating him from the heart and from these, well, there's at least one cup. Oh, it's a horn, I think, possibly. And for me, harps indicate harmony. you know, a good balance, that sort of thing, like peace, if you will. And it's there on the other side of the bank with the cup. Which is making him seem a little isolated, if I'm honest. You know, he's separated from his peace, he's separated from his cup. You know, cups being emotions and well, the vessels that hold the water that indicate emotions and feelings and all that kind of thing. It's like he's separated from his tools. He's separated from the things that not only give him peace and all that kind of thing, but allow him to give that to other people, because the Hierophant is the top. You know, it's sometimes called the Pope card. It's an acolyte card. There's usually other people depicted here, but on this card there are not. You know, there's distance, there's separation, there's a gulf, in fact, between this chap and his tools. So maybe this is a work situation. Maybe you're feeling pretty done down by what you're doing for work at the moment. Or maybe this is something a little broader, and you are feeling isolated. Isolation is not something that I usually get from the Hierophant card, but I am feeling that really strongly here. You know, isolated, set back, distanced from the tools that not only you use for you, but you use for other people. Take it as it resonates to you. And then we've got the Queen of Wands. Now, as a person, I said she could be a Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius. Doesn't need to be a woman. It's just the feminine attributes of the fire element. So we're talking broadly receptive. But of all the queens, she's the most dynamic. She's the one most likely to go out and get what she wants. And although I love the Queen of Wands and I usually find her very regal and whatnot, I'm drawn to the fact that her sunflower is wilted. It's kind of tipped over to the right there. And the whole scene seems very fixed, seems very static. And I'm feeling a little bit like this is... The Queen of Wands is a performer. And this is an outward view to everybody else. Like, you are projecting a scene of being very comfortable, being careful, being very... nothing being wrong with you, just as in there. But it's very fixed, it's very rigid. It's very fixed and it's rigid here, and you are separated from the things that give you peace, those things that you love. And this could be a physical distance of some description, or you could just feel like you've been trying to reach out, but you cannot bridge that gap. And your sunflower's tilted. Your sunflowers are wilted, in fact. You know, I'm even drawn to the way she's holding on to the sunflower and to the wand. She's clutching them in tight fists. I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but there's a very rigid front here. That's what I'm picking up. And I feel like the strength is you internally working to keep that front going, but it's taxing you. It's causing you some issue, Capricorn, I think. The next card you've got is the Three of Wands. Now, the Three of Wands can indicate lots of things. It can indicate travel. It certainly usually indicates movement of some description. But just as the Two of Wands is kind of it can be a crossroads, but it's about the planning stage of something. You know, it's a crossroads because you need to plan to go one way or another. The Three is generally when you start actioning that plan. And see here in the Crow Tarot, we've got the Three Wands forming a bridge of sorts between two spots. But unusually for the Three of Wands, this card in particular has got some roiling emotions going on in the background here. You know, I don't usually see water on a Wands card. but I'm seeing it here. And that is fierce emotion. There is a lot going on here. But there's that gap. Again. You know, just as the stream that runs along here that's separating this person from their tools, their internal tools, I feel. Here in the month of December, we've got the ability to bridge that gap. This is what you're working on. But it's done against a backdrop of some serious emotion in the background. And there is a star up in the corner. You know, stars indicate hope, the possibility of healing. You know, it's off in the distance. It's very small on the card, and it's right on the other side of this emotion. But it's small steps. You know, erecting each of these wands and using them as a bridge to move across. Seems like something that you're involved with at the moment. Really interesting, because it's fire energy again. We've got 2 fire energy cards here. We've got them again, and wands, you know, and fire generally it's things that you feel passionate about. You know, it's a very active suit, which is interesting because you are Earth, and Earth is, I wouldn't say static exactly, but it's very slow moving. You know, it's the steady accumulation of position and status and emotional relationships and all of those, because they move very slowly, very steadily, and in a very kind of methodical way. And if it's one thing that the wand suit is not, it is methodical. It's, you know, blink and it's gone, possibly, unless you know, put it next to some dry wood, and then it can become an inferno. But we've got 2 earth positions here depicted on this card. A whole, you know, tsunami of emotion going on behind it, which actually is probably, this is probably quite a precarious little bridge for this crow here, because it looks like this is about to rush in. But you're trying to bridge it, and you're trying to come across. The 2 cards that we have to clarify that, and as I'm looking at it, I'm feeling like we want to put these cards like this, so that the bridge is in between these 2 cards, these 2 states. Is the World card, or the universe as it is in this deck, and the Judgment card. Now the World card is the end of the major arcana. You know, it starts at the full and it moves towards eventually completion of a cycle. And after the World, once you hit the World, the idea is that you go back to the full and start again, you know, but with having taken on board all the lessons that you've learned in the previous cycle and constantly evolving up time, you know, over time. So on the face of it, it seems like a very strange card to have to come out to clarify the 3 of Wands, but I don't think that it is. Because as well as talking about the 4 fixed signs, and here we go, we've got Leo and Taurus again. Like they're usually depicted on the card. We've also got Aquarius and Scorpio. As well as talking about those 4 fixed signs, it talks about an end of a cycle. It talks about completion. It talks about things being done. I don't think you're happy about this, Capricorn, if I'm honest. Principally, you know, because Capricorns don't like change. You're an earth sign. You actually like everything to be very stable. It's about keeping things, you know, moving and growing and stuff like that. When something stops, when something ends, the inevitable result is that everything changes. And I would draw your attention back to the fact that we had the Tower at the bottom of the card. You know, something has ended or is ending or is about to end, and you're deeply uncomfortable about this, really deeply uncomfortable. Look at the amount of water, look at how violent that water seems in the background. this particular depiction of the world is really cold and barren. If you are dealing with a Leo, you know, the Leo is the sun, right? When the sun shines on something, you can bask in its heat, you know, its light, it works very well with earth, you know, those two things create you. But it's dark on this card and it's cold. If it's not a Leo you're dealing with, then this is how you're feeling about the ending. It's dark, it's cold. You know, there's a woman trapped in the ice there. I don't know if the camera can pick it up. And there's water on this card, but it's still, it's motionless. Maybe this is a person that you're dealing with and this is how they are now reacting to you. I mean, that's a possibility as well. And then we've got Judgment. And as well as being card number 20, so it's the one that immediately precedes the world. It's the card of Scorpio. And it's usually depicted as there's an angel and he's tooting on his horn, and there are people literally resurrecting out of their coffins. You know, it's the day of reckoning, it's judgment, you know, it's the final call. But because it's resurrecting the dead, often it talks about second chances, you know, opportunities to do something again. And I think it's really interesting that we've got an ending and then we've got an immediate, like wanting to do it again. And this here, sitting as a bridge between the two. Something's ended, or is ending, or has ended. I just said that. And you're not happy about it. You didn't want it to happen. This is cold. This is isolated. There's nothing here. There's nothing. It's just a big card of nothing. What you're trying to very precariously build a little bridge across to is the possibility to start something again or give it a second chance. You know, something that is, to all intents and purposes, dead and buried and cold and barren. There's no growth there. There's nothing fertile there. There's a woman trapped in the ice there. That's it, under a dark sky. What you're building a bridge across to is the urge to try and pull this situation back. Take one step back. One step back from the world card is Judgment. Take one step back and try and do it again. But this bridge that you've built, it's very precarious. It's literally 3 wands. And it looks like it's in danger of being washed away by this absolute torrent of emotions. And maybe these aren't your emotions. Maybe this is a person that you're dealing with. It's hard to tell. Either way, it runs the risk of washing them all away. And in doing so, washing away the bridge to the possibility of starting again. I'm just going to pull one more card for that because I'm like super interested. Another card. The card that's come out is Justice. Now there's a couple of different ways of interpreting that. I mean, it's the card of Libra for a start, so there may be a Libra involved, but there doesn't have to be. But it's a pillar card of the tarot. And for me, pillars mean karma, right? So this could be a karmic situation that you found yourself in that is coming to an end and you are reluctant to let it go. But the Tower is saying you really should. There's definitely a karmic element to this. I mean, the other way of interpreting this is that it's contracts, it's court cases, it's litigation of some description. You know, there's some element of a legal aspect to this. But I feel like because Justice is major arcana, like we're talking about bigger kind of notions of right and wrong and fair and unfair and just and unjust. Now, the thing that I find interesting about this is that when it fell off on the floor and I picked it up, like, from my perspective, it was actually reversed. So I'm not sure which way around it is. Maybe the reason that this has happened is because you have behaved unfairly, like you have done something which has ended a situation, and that's a possibility, you know. And if you have, then it's gone down as it meant to, and you can't pull it back. Tower, right? But the message is kind of sort of similar if it's the right way up, because, you know, this, it kind of suggests that everything has happened as it was supposed to. And karmically speaking, you're at the end now. And whatever the tower's coming along to you know, crumble in front of you, it's time to let it go. Get one more card. One more card. Here, please. I'm not going to take that one because they have to jump that way. We've got the Nine of Wands. Yeah, I feel like that confirms what I'm saying. Like, the Nine of Wands is the card of kind of being done, like, but not quite. You know, this guy, he's wounded, he's hanging off this wand. You know, he's got all of these, he's got all of these wands up around him. I'm not even sure that you put those there, Capricorn. I think this might be what you're trying to traverse here, what you're trying to get across to, you know, and take it as it resonates to you. Remember that energy can flip, so I could be talking about this from your perspective, but actually that this situation fits entirely well with who you are dealing with. You know, that's what they've done. You know, take it as it applies. But the feeling that I get here is that this bloke is looking at these ones and going, how am I supposed to get through these? You know, how am I supposed to do it? I really want to do it. I really want to try again, but I am now locked out. Cycles ending. Karmic cycles ending. So the final card that you've got for December is the Hermit. And the Hermit is the card of Virgo. And there's a star on this one as well. That's really interesting. So on the 3 here, we've got the star, and it's right off in the distance. It's behind all of this emotion here. Here, this crow is next to the star. Right? And the Hermit is, as you would imagine, it's the card of going within. And it's going within because all the answers are actually there within you. You don't need to go looking for external validation, verification, you know, answer seeking, solution seeking to external people or situations or, you know, anything outside of you. It's all in here. It's all in here. But you need to go within to spend a bit of time sitting with that and working out how to follow your star, how to go forwards. Because this isn't necessarily an obvious card to follow this one successfully. You know, this seems a little bit like you're trying to do this, but actually this cycle is closed, and whether you like it or not, you cannot reopen it. So now you're sat next to your star, which is now down here. It's not up in the sky. It's down here. Very close to the earth, which makes you think that the answers are very close to the earth. They're very close to you, you know, and here's this little crow with his little lantern. You know, you need to spend a bit of time reflecting in the month of December about possibly what your part was in this, possibly why things have come out the way that they have, you know. But then we've got 2 cards to clarify this, and we've got the Page of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles. And I really like this because, look, it's almost like you stand there and then it's coming closer. Do you know what I mean? There's going from there to there. You're going from seeing something to holding it in your hands. Now for me, the Page of Pentacles, as well as being earth energy, so it is you. He's the student. He's diligent. You know, he's all of the good qualities of Earth. But he's just a page. He's not the king. He's not the queen. He's starting off on a journey. And for me, he often depicts a situation where somebody finally understands the value of something. You know, he can be a messenger, but like for me as a reader personally, there was a point, literally seconds before he put this, you know, plucked this pentacle up off the ground, where he was not aware of its value, and the point at which he holds it in his hand and he's staring at it lovingly, like he gets it now suddenly. And he's devoted to this pentacle, and he's devoted to the act of creating more pentacles too. But he's fastidious and he's methodical and he's willing to work. He sees nothing other than this pentacle. The pentacle can be an indication of people or circumstances or, you know, money, possibly. Material things, possibly. But for me, always finally understanding the value of it. Now, from the page, he's got to go through the knight and he's got to go through the queen before he gets to the king. It's very much a card of starting fresh. And then we've got the Ace of Pentacles, which is literally, you know, the infinite potentiality of the ace. Like, all things are possible from this ace. But it's a very different set of energies to everything that we've got here, because I feel like this has happened on the run-up to December. This is what's going on in December. And then we've got this. And it's all earth. Hermit is Virgo. Page of Pentacles is earth energy. Ace of Pentacles is earth energy. And all we've got over here is air and water and fire. No earth. Apart from Taurus on there. Taurus on there. It feels like you've got separated somehow from what's important. It feels like maybe you have realised that you were wrong about something. Maybe your approach to something was wrong. Maybe you realise that you have been detached, separated either physically or energetically from what was important. The peace, the love, as depicted by the cup, you know, the horn, the communication. You know, all of these things, you've been sat back and isolated from it. And now you've kind of got it and you're like, I need to get this back. I need to fix this. But you've timed out. This cycle has closed now, and it has actually gone exactly as it was supposed to do. And I think this hermit mode that you're going into in the month of December is a real contemplative phase to help you kind of find what is valuable within you. Particularly, you know, maybe you've got issues of self-esteem. Maybe you've just like thoroughly misunderstood a situation. Who knows? But we're going from there to close to it. You know, you're kind of going to strike gold internally this month, Capricorn. It's probably not something that's going to be immediately obvious to people outside of you. But look at this star. And then look at the star and the pentacle here. Like, you are so close to it. You're almost close enough to put it into your hand. And in the month of December, you will get to that point where you can actually put it in your hand. Let's have a look here. But whatever this situation is, I think it's dead and buried. I don't think that this ace, this new thing, and this could be a promotion, it could be a new job, it could be all of those things, but I don't feel like that is the case. I feel like it's you digging away inside yourself and finding the star and finding what is not just important, but what is valuable within you and what you want to move forwards within. You know, you've got a page and an ace, we're talking at, you know, the bottom levels. But everything is possible from that point on. And I don't think if you're afraid of starting at the bottom with a new frame of mind. But whatever this situation is here and the stress that it was putting you under, you know, this fixed kind of outward appearance that you've been giving the world. Stressful. It's really stressful. And it's probably tired you out in a way that you didn't really need. Something new is coming, but it's not coming towards you, it's coming out of you. Where's the Page of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles here for Capricorn, please? Got the Knight. That's excellent. That's progression. You know. What's this? And the Page of Cups. Yeah. So from this is so cool. So we've got this little star down here. And then we've got that. And then we've got that. Moving closer each time. And then we've got the Knight. Yeah? And this is the Knight is someone who knows the value, absolutely, of what he's holding in his hand here. And he's making slow, steady movements. He's not a dramatic Knight, you know, he's not... You're not going to see him on the front of a DVD or something, you know. He's slow, but he'll get the job done. Now that you've got this new insight, this new awareness, this new value of something within you, you're going to move forwards. And that pentacle is going to arrive at its destination absolutely pristine, you know. If you gave it to the Knight of Swords, he'd probably drop it and he'd be 3 miles past where he dropped it before he'd even realised that it'd gone. But this is all really, really strong earth stuff here. And then we've got the Page of Cups. This is another page. We're talking about, you know, low level, starting again. But this is perhaps an apology to you or from you to someone else. Feel like it's an understanding. From your understanding of what is now valuable, there's a shift in perspective. I'm quite surprised I haven't seen the Hanged Man here somewhere, actually. It's a change of perspective that will allow you to finally make contact with your cup, because your cup's over there. Like, it's over there, you can't reach it. Here it's in your hand. And yes, you're a page, and yes, it's early, and yes, it's a low level thing, but you've got to start somewhere. And just getting your hand on that cup, seems, in the month of December, is going to be enough for you to start a new cycle. And you are starting a new cycle. You know, you cannot go back to the old one. That's done now. But it was here to teach you a lesson. It was here to teach you something which it seems you're finally going to understand. Can I have some advice for Capricorn, please, for December? Some advice for Capricorn. I love tarot. Do you remember how I just said I was quite surprised that I hadn't seen the Hanged Man? Here he is. The advice from tarot is the Hanged Man. It's, you know, this card here is based on the legend of Odin, who suspended himself upside down willingly, voluntarily, you know, for 9 days in order to see the world from a different perspective, and in doing so gain knowledge. It's a card of submission, sacrifice. It's sacrificing the old way of thinking, the old way of doing things, flipping yourself upside down, you know, willingly, voluntarily, to get a different perspective on things, to get a different viewpoint. And I feel like that's what this is talking about, you know, but with the Hermit as well, it's all in here. Your perspective has been requiring adjustment. And it looks like it's going to be a little bit, it's going to be a bit of a difficult transition, actually, probably. It's not going to be comfortable, particularly, but it is the right way forwards. Yeah, and then we've got the Emperor. Like, it's a card of Aries, this is Pisces and Aries, you know, but this is taking charge of your own internal state, right? And deliberately putting yourself upside down, suspending yourself upside down so that you can start to, you know, see the world in a different way, and then move forwards, you know, correctly. Like the Emperor is the King of Kings, you know. He is, it's a bit of a leap actually, but he leads, you know. But he needs to consider all of the possibilities, you know, that are brought to him by, you know, whoever, you know, commanders and stuff of his armies. Like, they will bring everything to him and they will suggest the things that they think are, you know, the right way forwards. And he's the one who's ultimately got to make the decision, you know. This is a kind of, don't sit back and allow life to happen to you. You have to really take charge now and start looking at things in a different perspective. Because what you're clinging on to, what you're trying to resurrect, isn't coming back. Like, the tower's torn it down. Like, it's done. There's a lesson in there for you, should you choose to learn it. And if you choose to learn it, then you will move forward, you know, with great success. But you have to willingly sacrifice the way things have been, the way you have perceived things. Because what's being suggested here is that actually the way that you've seen things has not been correct. Or maybe it's been too narrow, you know. You're absolutely working out of your element. And suddenly here you are with a bit of introspection, a bit of change of perspective and a little bit of submission. You know, how funny that we should go from submission to complete control. You know, that's what these two cards are talking about. Submission and sacrifice, allowing you then to be able to take control of your existence and move forwards properly. Now, for me, that indicates that there was something incorrect about the way that you were doing it before, and that is borne out by what's down here on the table right now. So, my lovelies, I hope that makes sense to you. I feel like I've just fucking rambled for the last however long I've been recording. It's quite specific, but I feel like it's definitely out for someone out there. They'll understand what I mean. So I'm going to leave it there. As ever, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for sticking with me. And thank you for your messages and your comments and things. Like, I read everything, although the channel's growing so fast that I'm struggling to reply personally to everything that I'm receiving. I do read it all. So take care, best of luck, and I'll be back for the mid-monthlies, but after that, the next general monthly reading will be for 2020, and I'm just cannot even believe I'm saying that. Yeah, okay, bye Capricorn.